All right, everyone. Thanks for joining me today. Today, we're going to talk about pens, specifically this Herman Epika. Epika. Um, I never knew that Herman Knives made pens until a live stream a couple weeks ago when a new viewer or a new commenter, Patricia, reached out and asked on the live stream if I had ever handled an Epika pen or an Epika. And I'm like, no, I'm not familiar with that model knife or something like that in the comments. And I was quickly chastised a little bit, if you will, because apparently most everybody else knew that it was a pen and not a knife. So presentation to me is very, very important. Okay. And I've talked about that before and I will talk about it again. So I love this packaging. Little foam insert here, magnetic closed box, a titanium, really thick, thicker than a credit card type certificate of authenticity, right? Talks about the serial number, the date. So I don't know how long they've been making pens. If this is serial number 11 and they just made this in April of 24, not even a year ago, I don't know if you can read all that. Pens might be new to them. Their packaging is fantastic, and I've seen that in their knives before. So they give you the pen, which has an ink cartridge in it, and an additional ink cartridge, which I think is super cool, right? Because sometimes, and we're going to put the packaging off to the side, sometimes when you get a pen, it comes with maybe not a proprietary ink cartridge, but it is not so easy sometimes to just find the right ink to fit that pen. Especially when it's more of a custom pen, right? So I do appreciate the fact that they give you an extra ink. Now they're both blue. It would be maybe kind of cool if they gave you a black and a blue so that you could choose. I am more of a black ink guy. You may be a blue ink guy or gal. Now I will say, and I've said this before, had I have thought about it when I went to buy my house a year ago and I brought this zirconium tactile turn pen, I think it was this one. Maybe it was this one. I don't remember now. It was one of these. I just don't remember exactly what day I bought this. I think I bought this Black Friday of 2023. So I probably took this one. And I pulled it out to sign the 412 times to buy my house. And they're like, that's a blue ink, right? And I'm like, no. They go, well, it's got to be blue. Because they got to make copies of it. They can't tell that it's real. I was like, damn it, I should have thought about that. So anyway, long story short, I had to use a standard BS pen to sign my house. I thought it would be cooler if I used a custom pen, but that's okay. So back to this. Excuse me. I think it's a very cool pen. It's not something in my life right now I would carry daily because I carry my pen in my back right pocket. And I thought it would be cool to check out the side click pen from Tactile Turn because a buddy had bought it by mistake and gave it to me on a deal. But when I go to put it in my pocket, oftentimes I'm at the top pushing it down and the ink, comes out. Same thing with this. I would put it into my pocket and the ink would come out. So for me in my lifestyle today, I wouldn't carry this unless I was dressed up and putting this in a shirt pocket. It would be excellent carry for that. Let me zoom in a little bit because give you a better look. This would be excellent in a shirt pocket. So for you guys that are in office settings with a pocket or maybe a polo shirt with, the buttons. I used to carry a pen there in the polo shirt or golf shirt or whatever it is. I'm dating myself. My Izod alligator shirt from back in junior high when I wore two. Let's not even go there. Forget I said I wore two. Never mind. So it would work really great there. in between the buttons of your shirt. And that, I could maybe do that again. I'm wearing a polo shirt right now. Let me just throw that on there and see. Golf shirt, sorry. That's actually really cool, and I could do that, and this pen would work great for that. Now, it has a ceramic rotating action, I think they call it. So when you push in on the plunger, watch the clip. The clip rotates. To release it, you're going to push the clip back, and then the ink comes out, or retracts. One thing to keep in mind and to notice, because it happened to me a couple of times, depending on how you're holding the pen when you push this in, if your finger is on the clip or anything like that, it may go in, but it's not going to stay in potentially because of this clip not engaging all the way, right? So if you're holding it, it may come out or it may just flop back in. I've had it go partially where it stays until I went to write, and then it would retract back. So just one thing to note. Now, the ink on this is a Fisher Space Pen. And that takes me back to my 7th grade junior high graduation trip. 8th grade graduation trip. Yeah, 7th, 8th, and then you go to high school. So 8th grade graduation trip to Washington, D.C., where we went to Smithsonian, all these things. And I bought a Fisher Space Pen, and I loved it. So this is how it writes. Now, forgive the penmanship. I can barely read my own notes, but I do take a lot of notes. I use a notepad like this. It's actually a folding notepad right next to my desk. I make notes throughout the day when I go to meetings and things like that. I'm the guy that's busting out a pen and a paper to take notes when everybody else is there typing on their laptop. And I think most of the time they're messaging their friends or doing other work and not paying attention to the meeting. But that's a different story. Okay. So the Fisher Space Pen cartridge is what it is. It writes upside down, sideways, underwater, all these things that you're probably never going to need it. But this pen writes really well. Now, it's $330+, which brings me to the point of why do we collect pens? We could get a Bic, it's a Papermate Eagle standard pen from back in the day. This one I couldn't get to write. How about this Bic round stick pen? Everybody had these in school. Okay. And if you want to go really, really, really old, you had this one that's like octagonal. That's also just the Bic stick, like just general stuff, right? They all work great. It's what kind of ink do you like? Do you like this little finer point, finer tip, little bit wider? I've been carrying the Tactile Turns, which use the Pilot G2, like the Pilot ink, and they write a little thicker, if you will. So this is more what I'm used to right now. If I zoom in a little bit, you can see that better. So we've got the Herman Epika, the, Bic stick, the Papermates, and then the Tactile Turn. And you can get this Tactile Turn ink. It's all the same for all of the Tactile Turn pens, but it's also the same for the Pilot pen, which is just like to buy, like a box of 10 for like $5 maybe. The clip is broken off on this one. But I think as we got into pens, it was just an extension of our knife collecting, where we're always striving for something better, something more luxurious, something that's going to last longer, something that is going to be more status symbol, if you will. And the term tactile pen, I think, is silly. My brother kind of told me that was silly as well. And I always listen to my older brother. But now he was in law enforcement for almost 30 years. And I think he carried this type of a pen. And and he'd buy a box of 12 or 20 every year for like $10. And that was it. And if he lost it, no big deal. He'd buy another one. If he left it on somebody else's desk, he'd just pick up another one out of the box type of thing. Never once in 30 something years was he in a tactical situation where he needed a pen. So let's get away from the tactical pen comments because it's just a very nice, luxurious writing utensil. This one comes in at like 4.8 inches, weighs in at 1.2 ounces. My tactile turn click stick side click pen is 1.1 ounce. And the zirconium one is 1.7 ounces if you care. Regular stick pen is like 0.2 ounces. So if you're into weight savings, don't get zirconium. But this just feels really nice in the hand. I thought it would be too short, but it's not. It's a perfect size for my hand. I thought it'd be too short because I'm just used to the longer tactile turn pens. But it adds nothing in terms of writing and carryability and stuff. This is a great size. A little bit shorter is a little nicer when writing, just kind of, fidgeting a little bit or whatever. I think these are great pens. Am I going to run out and buy one? God only knows. I hope not. Try not to get back into pens. I have a few. I literally carry this one every day because I love zirconium. I like the blacked out look. And I've been carrying this one for over a year every day. Why do I carry a pen when I leave the house? God only knows. Because I'm an idiot. Because I'm a crazy EDC collector guy. And I feel like I have to carry stuff. So anyway, if you didn't know that Herman made pens, now you do. And you are, it's like 10 minutes of your life you can't get back. And I am appreciative of you spending it with me. Patricia, thanks so much for sending this in. I greatly appreciate seeing new things that I don't know about. So have a great day, everyone. I appreciate you, and we'll see you on the next video.